Well, well, well. What on earth is going on at Panasonic? We'll check the audio in a moment. You may have heard the news over on Andrea's channel, or is it Andrea? I'm not sure. The M43 leaks, the L leaks guy. Check out his channel on YouTube. Andrea Pizzini, I think it is. We're talking about the Panasonic GH7. Can you believe it? Can you believe they're going to drop this in 1 day from now? It's the 4th of June 2024 as I speak, in the wee hours of the morning Australian time. Hype alert. Now, we did hear the rumors on Andrea's channel of a new camera coming out on the 5th, just after the S9, only a week or two earlier. We've heard that there have been multiple new cameras registered, whatever the fuck that means, folks. What does it mean to register a camera? I don't know. Let's check the audio. I love it when people come into these lives and they listen for 5 seconds and then they get the fuck out. It is hilarious. It makes it all worthwhile, folks. Don't like, don't subscribe, don't tell your camera curious friends. GH7, is it true? Well, I didn't jump on the train after Andrea's first video because I'm like, he's got one source, it's a new source, he's not really sure himself. But then a day later, boom, he's dropping the C word. The C word, confirmed. He's saying this is confirmed. And it's just like, wow, it's like blowing all kinds of tech, camera, Panasonic fuses in my mind. Just started to recover from the S9 drama. That was a good time. Things move fast in the camera world, guys. The Panasonic GH7 to drop in about 24 hours time. Unbelievable. Now, I actually didn't think, on the balance of probabilities, it would come out this year. But you know what? Maybe my initial instincts should have been trusted, because I used to talk about how the GH6, with its issues, was a camera that Panasonic would probably want to replace pretty quickly. It didn't have the phase detect. It had the streaky sensor. Okay, those were the two pretty big problems with that camera, and you can say, oh, the streaking is an artistic artifact. I actually think that's not artistic, but it's an artifact of the technology, just like grain is an artifact of film. Different aspect ratios are an artifact of the film and the TV days. Some of that weird tracking granulation with video and snow with analog, like these are all kind of points of charm of older technologies, and streaking is an effect you get from a digital electronic sensor. So, but still, so, you know, there's a theory it was worse in some cameras than others, even within the GH6 selection only. Like some GH6s are worse than other GH6s. That theory was never proven, but it could be true given the sensitivity and the small scale of the electronics. However, it's something that would personally put me off buying the camera. Now, the GH7 will have a new sensor pretty much for certain. It may be the G9 Mark II sensor. If they've tried to, look, guys, it's only been 2 years. It was Feb 2022 the GH6 came out. There's so much to download and talk about with this release. It's only been a little over 2 years, so how much have they really done? I'm thinking it's going to go straight into a GH6 case. It's going to have probably the G9 Mark II sensor, but I'm not 100% confident about that. If the G9 Mark II sensor is kind of tried and trusted at this point, and I think there were a couple of mixed reviews, but you know, it seems like it was pretty good to me. Some of the people in the camera community like to talk about image quality. They never really back up their criticisms with the images they show, in my opinion. But let's say the Genome Mic 2 sensor, it'll probably have the fan because it's in the GH6 case. It may have a different tilt screen, but I think it will be the same as the GH6. Probably has the same EVF. I don't think there were any complaints about that. It'll probably have all the same video modes as well. It will be interesting to see if they change the card format, but I'm not so sure how modular that part of the camera is. If it's very modular, it's probably something they can swap out pretty easy. Hopefully it's got a second USB port. That was something people were complaining about. And will it be dual CF Express? Is it time to go that route? Will it have a new battery? There were some complaints about the GH6 battery, but I'm guessing that's more if you're running like the really high resolution modes and stuff, but I don't know because I've never used the GH6. I'm so close to the GH6. Like, this is an emotional moment where it's time to consider the next in line. It will no longer be the flagship M4 camera. So the 2-year reign of the GH6, which was just a beast of a camera, whether you want to pick the faults or not, might be coming to an end if this room's through. I'm taking it at face value. If this is all a hoax, then we'll have a laugh about it. We got to just deal with the hype and the drama. That's what it's all about, folks. People take this stuff too seriously. They take it too seriously, folks. It's all about having a good time. You know, we can't afford to buy every new camera that comes out, so let's have some fun, even if we don't own the cameras. I've thoroughly enjoyed owning the GH6 for 2 years, even though I've never even had one in my hands. The GH7, wow, the GH6 owners might be a little bit pissed because they're no longer at the top of the food chain when their GH7 is released. And they might feel like they should have had a bit more than 2 years at the top. And that's a fair sentiment. I think you would expect more than 2 years, but there are exceptional circumstances, folks. There are mitigating circumstances for what Panasonic has done. That's called a Freudian slip. This could revive the GH line. The GH6, I've already said, it's already vintage. I've never seen a camera go vintage that quick. And this will just consolidate and confirm that. Now, if the GH6 has something the GH7 doesn't have, and we don't know if that's going to be the case, it may become a bit of a cult collectible camera. By the way, guys, purely coincidentally, I was looking at camera prices today for the GH6 explicitly, and I can pick one up for $17.50 Australian. That's crazy. That's like $1,100 US. Now it's obviously body only, but it's a lot of camera for the price, guys. A lot of camera. And I think that maybe they're trying to clear out a few units before the GH7 comes out. Just my theory. So yeah, the GH6 prices are probably going to stay down for a while unless it becomes like this cult. It is always going to be a cult camera, but will it be a cult camera that has a certain high value associated with it? Financial value, I mean, price. Will the price go up over time? It's an interesting question. I don't know that there are that many GH6s in existence. It will be discontinued. So it's had a very limited 2-year production run. For the first 6 months, it was very expensive. I don't think there's many around, guys. If you want a GH6, for the hell of it, I would grab one now if you have the money to collect this shit. But the GH7, it's going to be damned expensive, no doubt about it. But the GH7 will be probably the closest thing we've seen to a perfect camera for some time now. Unfortunately, we'll have that bulk. You got the bulk, but it's not full frame. I'm actually okay with that because the image quality coming out of M4 now is just so incredibly good. Even since the GH5 days, like when I'm watching YouTube, I can't tell if someone's used full frame. It doesn't look any better than M4 It truly doesn't. So you have the advantage of cheaper, smaller lenses. Now, some of the lenses are pretty dear, but even so, they're probably cheaper than full frame most of the time. And very easy to slap on a vintage lens with an adapter, of course. So I think that this camera, if it does have the phase detect, if it's still got the uncropped recording and unlimited recording times, except perhaps in like the 4K 120 and shit like that, where you wouldn't care if there was a limit anyway, that's fine. But as long as it's uncapped at 4K 60. Yeah, guys, I see this as a camera that is future-proof. Future-proof. You could buy this GH7. We'll see what the specs are, but assuming it stays true to the GH standards, that you could buy it and you're done. It's your one and done camera. Okay, it's not an action cam, it's not a compact cam, but for your serious work, it could be your one and done camera. Can you believe? I'm super. I hope this is true because I want a GH. I didn't get the GH6. I didn't get the GH5 Mark II. I'm still back with the GH5 and the GH5S. Did I say GH6 Mark II or my GH5 Mark II? If I did, the GH7 is the camera that I have been waiting for. I'm also waiting for the Pentax K1 Mark III or whatever it's called. But that's a topic for another video. This is just unbelievable news, and I really want to own this camera. I don't know that I'll be buying it because of the price, but the fact it came out early means that, you know, hopefully price comes down a little bit over the next year. And maybe I can pick one up in a year, or maybe pick up a pre-owned one, or just wait for that 20% off sale. You know, we'll see what happens. I'll have to earn a lot of money to justify buying a GH7, because it's going to be probably close to 4,000 Australian dollars, I'm guessing, just the way that everything's being priced these days. I'm seeing one shop, and as I said, there's some cheap GH6s, there are, but there's one place that's still asking 3,700. Body only. That's crazy money. So the GH7 will be at least, well, we'll see. It'll be over 3,000, I think. Anything under 3.5 would be great, but we'll see. We'll see. And yeah, guys, the GH7, the camera, people are going to be going nuts over testing this camera. I'll tell you what, if this is true, again, taking it at face value, Panasonic have done pretty well keeping this under wraps. Like, they've kept this tight. I mean, a couple of little leaks, a few days out, probably makes sense. Not as many as the S9, but Panasonic are probably stinging from the way the S9 has been received and the kind of scandal involving the influencers, which I think unfairly makes Panasonic look bad. Like, it makes sense for Panasonic to find sellouts and use and abuse them. That's just fucking business, right? That's what they do. It's really the influencers that have an ethical dilemma that they have to resolve. It's not really Panasonic. unless they've been shitty behind the scenes. But I've seen testimony on YouTube that they're actually very good to deal with behind the scenes. So anyway, that's that. But yeah, the GH7 in 2024, no one expected this. Maybe I was sort of thrown off the trail by consuming too much content. Like it might, going back for probably more than a year ago, I was like, the GH7 is going to come out early. And over time, I kind of dropped that, and I'm like, no, they're going to just maybe even take a bit longer, just get everything right. But I think the issue was, like, all of the pieces probably fell into place just after the GH6 came out, with the face detect and the new sensor. And all they had to do was cobble together the technology they already had, put it in a GH6 case, rebadge it as a GH7, get rid of some of the cropping and shit that affected the G9 Mark II, and boom, you've got a GH7. And people might be like, oh, like it might come out with 5.7K and 4K 120 and nothing really more than GH6 in terms of recording modes and data rates. I'm okay with that. I don't think we need any more at this point in history. Maybe one day, 10 years from now, 8K recording might be a thing, but man, 4K is so sharp and so good. Who needs 8K? I can't see anyone needing 8K for another 10 years, and even then it's only really if you for some reason want to just massively zoom in. And then can your lens even handle, because you can get softness from the lens if you zoom in too much digitally, right? It's not just your fucking sensor resolution. So guys, I'm happy with the GH6. I'll say it now, the GH7 to have the same recording mode as the GH6. I would like it personally to have 2 card slots of the same type. If that's the case, it would have to be CF Express. If it's 1-on-1, okay, not the end of the world, but I just like the simplicity of having the same card slot. I hope it has the 2 USBs. I hope Panasonic listened to what people said about the GH6. I hope that they listened about what they said about G9 Mark II and about the S9. Not that that's going to, impact the GH7 in any way, unless it's through firmware. But yeah, the GH7 should be a camera that impresses. It basically should be the GH6 with the 2 weak points removed. It's going to be like a production level beast, on M43. It's just amazing. Absolutely incredible. It is a June surprise from Panasonic. I'm personally ecstatic. I really, really can't wait to see if this is true. If it all blows over and it's nothing, well, it's okay. Absence makes the heart grow fonder. It'll be worth the wait when it does come out. But the thing is, I'm kind of ready for it now. Like, even if they do a GH7 Mark II later or a GH8, which is hard to say, it has a few improvements, fine. I just think they need to get a GH with face detect. Just get that out now. It's probably what they're doing. The S9 is a fuck around camera. We need some like runs on the board now with like a really solid proper camera. The S9 is an oddball. The GH6 tried to be the camera that we wanted. It represents probably the peak in contrast autofocus technology of any camera ever made. And that's, you know, a bit of technical trivia, I suppose. And it does work, seems to work pretty well, honestly, from the reviews I've seen. But the way with the phase detect, you seem to be able to just have confidence in it, and you're paying for that peace of mind. You know, finally it'll be a convenient YouTube camera, right? And a convenient run and gun street, you know, quick autofocus on the go. Okay, it's very big. That's an issue, and hope eventually they have a smaller, compact, like genuinely compact street camera with phase detect that has okay video, even if it's just 4K 30. But this GH7, wow, it's just blowing my mind. It's like Christmas come early. I'm gonna enjoy owning it. It'll be interesting to see how the reviewers handle it, if this is true, and what GH6 owners have to say. GH6 owners have lost half the value or more of their camera. In fact, really more, because, you know, they'll be selling it used. So that's kind of incredible. Kind of incredible. I wouldn't mind seeing a bigger camera at the same, bigger battery, but at the same time I wouldn't mind having the same battery that I use now and get that continuation. Like I kind of be happy in both cases. So yeah, the GH7, guys, I think that's all I can really say until this gets confirmed or debunked. And yeah, taking it at face value, and if we're wrong, we'll have a laugh about it. But exciting times in the camera world, guys. Exciting times. Thank you for watching.